everyone, it's me, Natalie, and welcome back to my channel. This week I'm outside in the garden and I'm recording this session as a sort of podcast-like-ish series. I know that winter is coming. When the air smells different. Sort of like the Siberian cold. It's different, it's fresh, it's stingy, but it's also very clean and very wide. If I can describe it that way. It makes your lungs wide. And it's a very clearing season. What falls away, falls away. What's not strong enough to make it through winter and the cold will not be able to be there next year. I don't think it's coincidence that right now we're dealing with a lot of separation in humankind. I don't know what your fields of interest are, but I mostly deal with animal rights and spiritual realms, sometimes a little bit of gaming because that's what I'm into. I don't watch the news, but it's really hard to not hear things. As I've said, there's a lot of separation going on, either politically or, I don't know, even I feel like with veganism and the vegetarian age, I find it very hard to participate in these discussions because I'm in the middle. So yes, I love animals. And yes, I do understand when people eat meat because some bodies do not absorb certain nutrients through plant medicine. I get shot from both sides if I participate in discussions, which is why I barely ever do it. I'm not here to please. I am here to have my own experience. I think I prefer things to be on the holistic side. And I've listened to Yaya, Erin, Rivera, Meriman's podcast, the Starseed Survival Guide? Starseed Survival Guide. I'm sorry. Sorry, Yaya. But the podcast is amazing. So if you're open to a very well-rounded podcast about all kinds of medicine and nurturing, I really do recommend Yaya's podcast. It's delicious. In the recent episode, she talked about the goddess worldview, where she's into religions or cultures that have one goddess for birth and death, which is a very healthy view to have. It doesn't separate, it doesn't segregate, it's one thing. So there is the yin and yang. It's both joy and pain. One has already the seed of the other within itself, and it's only a matter of time until the seed comes to fruition and you're in the up or down phase. You're in the suffering, you're in the joy. And if you're able to accept that, you will come to a point of view where there is no wrong and right, but there's just something way beyond this living body, way beyond truth that is separated into truth and lie. It's just one thing that operates as one giant organism. And I believe that we as humans are barely ever equipped to understand everything that is happening with our mind. Our mind is very limited, so if you're not open in your heart space and you see, yes, things feel wrong in general, like killing animals, it doesn't seem right? Like the way it happens, it's like mass production. It's sick. It's way too much meat that we consume. But what I think is, and you see it in the traditional Chinese medicine, they do recommend certain kinds of meat for certain kind of illnesses. That does mean that it comes in very tiny doses. I was a vegetarian from age 8 to 24, and my body has issues with iron deficiency. So I've been to several doctors. I took my iron, which was plant-based, and I had really, really tough times resorbing that iron into my blood. So that was up to the point where I couldn't sleep because my heartbeat was so high and so all over the place that I just couldn't sleep. And then I started to knock out. During the day, everything went white or black, and I would just get unconscious where I was. So I had to be talked into eating meat again. And this comes from a lady who, at age 16, I was such a pain in the ass to my classmates and to everyone around. And I was highly judgmental of everyone who ate animals, to have to go back to eating meat. And the way I do it is I appreciate the heck out of it. And I eat things. There's a typical Austrian thing that is called Blunzenköstel, which is some kind of blood sausage. It's very dense, it's very nutritious, and I sometimes, like once or twice a year, have a craving for that, and I will give into it. Yes, I want to go back to being a vegetarian and even a vegan, because the milk industry, I don't need to tell you, you know all of that. But for now, I've managed to come to a point and place where I really don't judge myself anymore. And it took years. So yes, if you find yourself in one of those places where you're not taking sides with anyone, but you have your very own opinion, welcome. Welcome here. Take a seat, take a cup of tea or coffee or your beverage of preparation and just sit down and tell me all about you. Because I'm interested in people who have a very open view, and I don't claim to know anything, you know. There may be supplements out there that I haven't found out yet, and I'm very open to that. But I'm also very open in my heart space and very vulnerable there, because I feel that the more we judge each other, like, we don't all have to be best friends, but I think we can have a reverence and a respect for each other. And the more we judge each other, the further away this goal will be, and the more violence we will have, because we cannot let the other party exist. We have no respect for them. And if that happens, we're lost. Like, where's our heart? Where are we? And I'm not a saint. I do find myself judging others. And when I do, it feels awful. It feels awful to judge others. It feels like, I think the Buddha said that. The Buddha said, I don't know if he used judgment, but it was something like, if you judge one person, or if you want to harm another one, it's like drinking poison. No, if you hold a grudge, that's what it was. Sorry for meandering. But if you're holding a grudge, it's like you're drinking poison and expecting the other to die. So I think judgments are nothing else than holding grudges on a very general basis. And I don't want to hold a grudge against anyone. Not me, not you, not anyone out there. Yeah. That was my meandering thoughts out of the garden for this week. Thank you so much for listening. And yeah, about the Fennec Fox, because I haven't been talking about that one. This will be a complimentary thank you card for anyone who decides to buy something from my shop. I will take down the shop for a couple, maybe 2 weeks or 3 weeks, to come out with better prices and new products. So that will be nice. And yeah, I will be here next week, hopefully with something more scripted than this here. But thank you so much for listening, and we will talk soon. Bye-bye.